Hey, y'all, one more time. When I was writing The Lady and Sons 2 at my round table in the dining room on Abercorn Street, I've told y'all before, I wrote the entire book with a pencil and a notebook. And so I said, I need to include some grits in this. And I said, but what can I do? What can I do? So I went into the kitchen and I had a can of Rotel tomatoes. And I said, how about some tomato grits? That sounds good. Well, this turned out so good that we actually used it in the restaurants. And I think, I'm not sure, but Paula Deen's Family Kitchen in Pigeon Forge, they may still serve these on their breakfast menu. I just can't remember. All right, so this is what I did. I started out with 2 cups of water and 1 1.25 cup of milk. And I'm going to bring that to a bowl. I'm going to add my salt because salt is very important when you're cooking grits, y'all. Get out my handy dandy whisk. And because this whisk is also very important, y'all, when you're cooking your grits, that you are constantly turning those grits in the liquid so they won't clump. And I have butter, I have cheddar cheese, I have green onions, and in the recipe, it called for a roll of garlic cheese, which they no longer make anymore. So I'm going to substitute that. You can substitute with anything you want to, but I'm going to substitute it with Cheese Whiz because I think that garlic roll was probably like Cheese Whiz. And I've got my garlic powder because this doesn't have garlic in it. I've got my eggs. I've got mo cheese. And so we're just going to wait for that to boil. So I'm going to add my grits. And I put my salt in. Like I said, you want to keep turning those grits. Turning them, and not giving them an opportunity to lump. Because nobody likes lumpy grits. So we'll get that back to a ball. I'm going to go ahead and add that much butter. You want them good and buttery. And by putting that butter in now, it will deter those grits from lumping the fat in it, in the butter. So 2 important things about good grits: salt and blending. All right, so I'm going to turn it down because it's to start boiling again. And I always use 5-minute grits, y'all, just because I like them. And if I'm in a hurry, I can have them ready in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So if I start with the long cooked, you got to cook them 45 minutes. But these I can slip and slide either way. Now I'm going to add my green onions. I'm going to add my garlic powder. And I'm going to let this cook for 2 or 3 minutes. I just stuck my finger in it, y'all. And I'm going to add another ½ teaspoon of salt. I think that'll fix it up good. I'm going to add my Cheese Whiz. And remember, this is a 15 ounce. So half of that would be 7.5. And I need 6 ounces. So about like that much. All righty. I'm going to let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to put the lid on and cut it on low and give that about 3 more minutes. But while I'm waiting on that 3 minutes, I am going to go ahead and spray my casserole dish because I don't want them to stick. Now I'm going to add my Rotel tomatoes. I'm going to take a little of that juice off. Isn't that pretty? And I'm using the original because if I use the hot, there's a good chance the children couldn't eat it. So, and I do want them to be able to eat and enjoy. All right. Now I'm going to add about 4 ounces of cheese. I'm just going to cube it and let it melt throughout those grits.
These need to be called tomato cheesy grits.
Yeah. Yes, because they are cheesy. I don't know what that little bit of cheese is out for. Let's just put it in. Ain't no such thing as too much cheese. All right, now I've still got my eggs, and our eggs are important in this dish because they're going to allow it to cook up kind of like souffle, make it thick. So I'm going to have to temper. I'm going to have to temper these eggs with some of the hot grits because I sure don't want scrambled eggs in my casserole dish. Thank you, Teresa.
You're welcome.
I said that right in the way, didn't I?
No worries.
Okay, by tempering, that means that I'm going to slowly get those grits, get those eggs warm enough that I can put them in the pot without them turning to scrambled. And you just do that very slowly. A little bit of hot at a time. It's nice and warm. So I will go ahead and put that in. Just going to fold those eggs in there. And they're not scrambling, so that's a good sign. Okay, so I'm going to let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes. So I want to make sure it's good and hot when I pour my grits into the casserole dish and go into the oven. I don't want them to have to work real hard to get hot again. Okay, y'all. These are good and hot again. I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to pour them.
Please be careful.
Into my casserole dish. Look at that. Look at that. That pure makes me smile. And I hope y'all's food, whatever you cook, makes you smile. Okay. This is going in the oven, 350 for maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. I'm going to be checking it. And you can see I've still got a bowl of cheese. Now, I'm not going to put it on there yet because your cheese can sometimes get brown and hard. I don't want it that way. I'm going to pull this out when it's got 5 minutes left, and then I'll put the cheese on it and let it melt. Okie dokie. Look at that. Would you please? Beautiful dish. of tomato cheese grits. Hot as a fox in a fire. Look at that, y'all. Ooh. Can I fix that back where nobody knows? Yes, I can. I'm the queen of that. Mm. You know what I want, Teresa, with this?
What do you want?
I want some fried fish with it.
Yum. You got any for us?
Uh-uh.
We need to send Henry out.
Mm-hmm. I love it when Henry goes out and catches those trout. The trout is the best fish that comes out of that water, as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm a freshwater girl, you know, I like freshwater fish. But, you know, we had that storm over the weekend. And Michael has a freezer out there in his garage. And that's where we keep our salmon that's custom ordered. And all of our prime steaks. And we lost every bit of it because Michael didn't think to check when the power went off. I don't even want to think about it. This is scrumptious, y'all. So enjoy. Bon appetit, Southern style, y'all. Have a good one. Hey, y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.